Hello, everybody. Here's another adventure of from adversity to awakening, transforming hardships into greater spiritual connection. I'm your host, Peggy O'Neill, and I have a very special guest for you today. Her name is Caterina Rando. Welcome, Caterina.
Thank you, Peggy. I'm always blessing to be with you.
Well, ditto, my friend. And Caterina is an amazing person. I'm going to read you her bio. She is on a mission to teach, mentor, and support women to be themselves, to do their thing, serve their people, and massively monetize their mastery. Who doesn't want that? She shows women entrepreneurs how to be loud and proud about their value, the value they bring in order to make their business thrive. Her clients glow, shine, expand, open themselves up to new possibilities, and take their businesses further than ever before. It's quite an amazing thing. Caterina is all about positivity, integrity, generosity, community, and providing massive value while uplifting others. And that she does 24/7. I tell you, I've been her friend for what, 15 years now? Yeah.
At least, probably more. Yeah.
She's a very sought after speaker, event producer, and author. Caterina has been featured as a keynote speaker at over 2,000 live events in the United States and abroad. Caterina is the founder of Thriving Women in Business Giving Community. The group of big-hearted women raise money for women and girls' education and entrepreneurship training. She wants women to know that they do not have to wait until they are wealthy or retired before they can embrace philanthropy. This is a clear message in the Women's Giving Circle Guide, a book she also co-authored with C.J. Hayden. There are many more accolades, and we will hear more about them in our conversation, I'm sure. But thank you for being here, my dear friend. You're so accomplished. She's also written many books. She's she's had compilation books. She did that for a couple of years. How many of those books did you publish?
30, published 30 compilation books and some individual author books. And that was, 5 iterations ago. We also had a magazine. Now, I like to do retreats and we have our center. So.
Yeah. And Caterina is really a great mentor for finding your bliss and following it and being able to monetize what you love to do, because she's always done very well in her business, and she's changed what she does many times, but she's always teaching, she's always supporting people, and now she's really focused on women. So let's get into the questions.
Hey.
Okay, so as you know, the subtitle is transforming hardships into greater spiritual connection and joy. So why don't you tell us about one of your major adversities and how did that impact your life?
Sure, Peggy. Well, one of the things is that I had this dream of having a marriage where my spouse and I could be in business together. And he could, and I already had a business, my same business, when I met my former spouse and when I got married. And he he was great at travel, and he was a travel professional, and he was really great at, working with the hotels. And he's the one who encouraged me to do retreats on cruise ships, which I'm forever grateful for, because, I love to do that, Peggy.
How many of them are you doing this year?
This year, I'm hosting 2, and then I'm going on 3 other retreats that other gals are hosting on cruise ships.
Oh, great.
And I've already got 2 planned for next year.
Very good.
And, I love to do them because nobody can come late and nobody can leave early. Okay. So it makes for a great community building.
It does.
And my ex-husband was great at, the logistics of all that. And he also was experienced with sound. So when we did events at hotels, he would run the soundboard, and he was great at all the techno part of it that, I didn't have my attention on, because my attention is on the ladies. And the other thing is, I had my attention on the selling, on talking to women, about serving them. And he inserted himself really into the financial aspects of my business. He said, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. You take care of the ladies. I'll take care of it. And, that's was my dream, Peggy, that I could be in the front of the house serving my clients, and he could be helping me with the logistics of it all and running the business. Well, at some point I started to ask questions, and, what about this? And what about this? And this hasn't been paid, and da, da, da. And anytime that we would start to talk about it, somehow there was a fight, and somehow I was inadequate in my, I'm sorry, I'm laughing now, but there was like some, some gaslighting involved. Like, why are you asking? And no, no, no. So long story short is that at some point I tried to pay a very simple invoice for $250, and apparently there was no money in my account. And then I said, let's, okay. And then I said, okay, well, let me look at my line of credit, which was a $55,000 line of credit. And oh my gosh, there was no money left on the line of credit, which I never used. And okay, well, let me you know what, maybe there's a shortfall, or, the cash flow, cash flow is like, it's a cash flow issue. And I went to my retirement fund to maybe take a little bit out. And oh my gosh, there was no money in my retirement fund. And that I had been building for since I was, very young. And then I said, okay, well, and by this point, he had to come clean with what had happened. Then I said, okay, well, let me go to my stock account, which I had also been building for many years, and that was gone too.
Oh, Caterina, I didn't know all these details.
And so there was, so I'll call it financial betrayal. And I still to this day, and not only we're divorced, and my former spouse, he passed away before the pandemic, and we had been divorced for just a little bit. And here's the truth, Peggy. I loved him very much. I still love him. I would say I've forgiven him. And of course, he's gone. He's left the planet. His
Yeah.
situation's over. So it doesn't hurt him if I forgive or don't forgive. It is only how it impacts me. But these days I really think about all the good, and I know that he genuinely loved me. He had some problems. He had problem with alcohol, problem with anger. There may have been other things, and he hid it all. So I didn't really, I mean, he couldn't hide the anger part, but he hid the drinking. I didn't really see it. And I don't come from a family of origin where, there was any of that. So when he said, when I said, your nose is so red, and he said, oh, that's my medication, I believed him because I didn't know about all of that type of addiction.
Well, he was medicating, but different kind than what he was referring to, I'm sure.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
it made you think that it was he was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sweetie, that's really tragic.
Peggy,
And
it's okay. And we can talk about it because I'm on the other side of it, and so, and it, like you say, it's part of my journey. And, um,
so how did it impact you to have all of a sudden have all of this money gone? And I mean, you mentioned to me that you decided you weren't gonna claim bankruptcy, so, all the money must have been gone.
right. Yeah. And so the thing is that, and I'm not sure, I guess I wouldn't claim bankruptcy. Well, I mean, my credit was absolutely ruined during this process. I did consolidate my consolidated debt. I took out two very high interest personal loans. They won't give you money when you have no money. So I and I'm okay with that because it helped me in this situation. And then I got another personal loan. I mean, I did, and then the other thing I did, Peggy, was I sold like I had never sold before, meaning, and of course I did, and Peggy, you know, I'm a fashion enthusiast. I did not buy any clothing or any jewelry or anything for a year. I didn't go to the hairdresser. I didn't go get my nails done. I mean, I pulled in everything I could to
And how did it affect your sense of inner peace or self-esteem or?
Well, the thing is, and that's the thing, because you know, Peggy, I'm in the, hey, let me help you grow your business. And so I did feel, you know, it's like I'm all about authenticity. And I was like, okay, well, who wants to talk to me when obviously I'm, you know, I've got bigger problems. Like a client would say to me, oh, you know, and I've got so much debt. And they'd say like, oh, I've got $5,000 debt. And I think, oh my gosh, my friend, that's what I'm looking forward to that, you know? Or if somebody says, you know, I'm broke, I would say, I'm blissing I wish I was broke, you know, broke is when you have nothing, but you don't have this huge chasm underneath, right? And um, so I believe, here's my guiding principle, Peggy. We've got to take, and this is what I've learned through this process, okay? This is from this.
This is from this is the wisdom reaped. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Mhm.
We've got to take our depresso, our distraught, our our sadness, and we've got to turn it into determination.
Mm.
And this is something that really I feel is an important life skill. You know, as women, we talk a lot about self-care. Well, and mindset, we talk about more, but I'm going to say determination is the skill that we all have to develop. Because as you know, there is disappointment du jour. Okay. No, I mean, really,
Yes,
there
yes,
is,
yes, yes.
you know, I'm excited to talk to a gal. She's, oh yeah, Caterina, we're gonna sign up, we're gonna get started. And then of course, not of course, but you know, she vanishes. That's disappointment du jour. Or something happens, you're counting on you know, my friend was, I'm 2 weeks out of having my hip replaced, and which is great. I'm doing great. My recovery's been exceptional. And my girlfriend, who has an Italian catering company, she said, "Oh, Caterina, I'll come by on Wednesday. I'll bring you some Italian food from my catering business." And my friend, I'm waiting all week for Wednesday, and Wednesday came and went, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't, you know, get on the other. I couldn't get over there." You know, that's depresso for me, especially when I'm looking forward to it, and that's disappointment. And so really disappointment comes in all forms. Of course, um, financial betrayal was, you know, the biggest disappointment that I can recall, but that's okay. We've got to take all that and turn it into determination. And so on the other side, Peggy, I feel like, you know what? Any day that the day doesn't go my way, it's okay. I just turn up my determination. And and of course, all those other things matter, like mindset and self-care, because you know, when you're super
Right.
tired, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that it didn't impact your self-esteem.
my friend, it totally impacted my self-esteem. Yes. Yes, it totally impacted my self-esteem. And again, because I want to be authentic in my life, you know, and then I'm feeling schlumpadinka and I'm asking, you know, I'm asking mamas to hire me. And of course, you know me, I always under promise and over deliver. But
Right?
yes, my self-esteem was significantly impacted. But here's the other thing. On the other side now, Peggy, like I used to have this fear, okay? I used to have this fear, and this is when I was married. This is not just like a post situation thing, but I used to have this fear that I'm going to be an old lady by myself in my little apartment at my table with my house coat on and my formica table, and a cat's going to be sipping milk, and I'm going to be all by myself, you know, like sad and lonely.
Yeah.
And then I got myself through this. Now I realize, no, I am not going to be that gal, because you know what? I got another superpower, Peggy. I know how to get the gals together. Okay. My friend said to me, "Hey, Caterina, you want to go to the museum?" I said, yeah. And then I said, hey, why don't I invite a couple more gals? Now we got 20 gals going to the museum together. Why? Because I know how to extend an invitation. I know how to uh, uh, be enthusiastic in my invitation. And that's also why I get to do my retreats, because I know how to invite ladies to come. And so I feel like I'm always going to be okay, Peggy, because I've developed determination. I've developed the ability to cultivate community.
Yeah.
And that is a huge benefit also.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a certain way where you trust life and you trust yourself and
Absolutely.
you trust what you can create and
Yes.
you can trust that your vision can manifest because you've done it so many times. And
Thank you. And I do want, let's jump back to what you said about trusting life.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Like, I know that there's a lot of bad in the world, but I believe that I live in a world of love and kindness and people. And I believe, I believe I look for people, yeah, Peggy, we've been friends for many years. Why? Because you're loving and kind. And those are the kinds of people I want in my life. And so when I start to notice somebody who's negative all the time or feels like the world is out to get them, no, I don't want to work with them. I don't want to hang out with them because, let me say this, because I believe that uplift is important.
it's very important because there's so much, like you said, depresso,
Yeah,
disappointment, and
right.
and everything's pressing on your self-esteem all the time. Well, at least for me, I mean that's a big issue for me. But I think for other people it is because so many ways we measure ourselves against others, and it always impacts our self-esteem. And guess what? There's always somebody richer, thinner, and funnier. I mean, like, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And well, that's a whole nother conversation, my friend. I mean, the comparison game, we
Well,
will lose that every single time, and that's why I like to say, not only be your authentic self, amplify your authentic self, because when you're being yourself, you're winning,
yes,
right? You're
yes,
listening
yes.
because you're absolutely the best version of you. And I want to say that one of my intentions, oh, I got to tell you, this little thing happened. So I went to the farmer's market on Sunday and I bought some vegan chocolate. And I'm a vegan Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I'm not a vegan all the time. But I bought some vegan chocolate for one of my clients who, because I send out chocolates a lot, but I want to send her vegan. And this gal said to me, hey, would you like a tarot reading for $1 to go with your vegan chocolate? And I said, absolutely. And then I said to her, here's my intention. This is before she even pulled a card. I said, my intention is every conversation I have, whoever I'm talking to, they leave more uplifted than when we started the conversation.
Katie, that's so beautiful. That
Well,
is
and it's a great way to live your life. And you know what happened, my friend? She pulled a card, and you know what it was? It was the happy, happy card that she pulled.
10 of cups.
And the thing is that I know, I'm all about blissing in your business, blissing in your life. Well, part of it is we have to choose to be bliss and bring the bliss.
Yes. So tell us, so because this is about having the adversity and having a process that brings you into a greater sense of spiritual connection. And a lot of people define that in different ways. And I would say the way that we've named your um, thing like that is called trusting life,
Mhm.
because that means you're connected to life. That means that you trust that the good is going to come, it's going to continue to come, and you're going to be able to continue creating good for yourself and good for others. So tell us about
Hey,
how.
hey, but let me say this, my friend. The good will come, but also I'm looking for the good.
Yes, of
And
course
I
you
am
are.
dismissing the
Yes,
not good.
yes.
Okay.
And I think that this conversation, if you read between the lines, is what they want to call textbook for how to create a positive mindset. So many things that you've said are either the result of having a very strong positive mindset
Yes.
or are because I think that this is something that you intend over and over, and you understand that your
Yes.
mind, your thoughts, the way you see reality, the way you see yourself is what creates your reality. And
Yeah.
so, and what creates the circumstances of your life and how they unfold, right? I mean, like disappointment might come, like what happened with your
Yeah.
husband.
Didn't get my Italian food. Sorry for me. That's okay, my
Then
friend.
you got
I
to
got
call that a vegan day and shut that
exactly.
out, right? That was maybe one upside from that event. You
Hey,
couldn't have your
I got
meatball sandwich.
right, exactly. I can, my sister owns an Italian deli 6 blocks away. You know that. So,
And
you
my
know,
former husband always, every
yes,
time we went to San Francisco, we had to go to your sister's shop called Angela's on the corner of 23rd
yes,
and
Angelina's. Yes, Angelina's, 22nd in
Angelina's,
California.
and he had to have his meatball sandwich.
Yes. They still make those meatball sandwiches and they're very good. But
Oh, good.
I haven't had one in years because I wouldn't say they're super healthy, but that's okay.
It's a lot of heaviness in your belly after that. Okay, so let's get back. Blissing as a um as a result, tell us about how the bliss in your life has increased since you
Sure.
have it's like you've tuned up, it's like you've strengthened your determination not only at success, but for having a positive life, of having a positive mindset, of having a positive experience.
Well, Peggy, part of it is you pay attention to what uplifts you
Yes.
and what brings you down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
No, and that's people, and that's places,
That's things.
and that's activities, right? Things, and so you're hip to who do I love to hang out with? What do I love to do? Where do I love to go? Like, even though you and I are both California girls, I'm not blissing at the beach. I don't want sand in my shoes. I don't want to slog through the sand. Now, me, I'm happy to be on the cruise ship, looking at the ocean. Okay. And it's okay. I don't have to. The other thing that women often do is they should themselves. Well,
Mhm.
I should want to be at the beach and I should want to do this and I should
Should
like this.
spend time with that person. And I should go
Right.
down that
Right.
avenue of my business because
Right.
everybody says that that's what's going to make me
Right.
successful.
Right. And this is why I'm not in the publishing business anymore, Peggy, because yeah, for me it was very lucrative, but you know what? I didn't bliss. I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to, I didn't want to be in the publishing business. You know me, I like to speak, I like to be with the gals, I like group programs, I like
Teaching, and you're such an awesome teacher, and just always seem to be having a good time whenever I've seen you teaching. I've been at a lot of your events.
yeah, well that's my bliss. And let me say this too, because sometimes in life we think that we want to do something or be something and we're not blissing right away. Well, what makes us bliss is mastery. It's not the only thing, but it's part of it. So let's say somebody like Peggy, you and I know each other from National Speakers Association.
We
Maybe
do.
somebody wants to be a
We
speaker.
met on the dance floor.
And on the dance floor, I said, "Oh my
We
God, look
were
at that
both
woman. She's
blissing.
so fun. She is so fun. I have to be her friend. She is so fun." The thing is that somebody might, and believe me, I know the path to being a sought after speaker is got a lot of disappointment in it. And speaking is very vulnerable. But the thing is, the more you do it, the better you get. Then pretty soon you get really good. Then you don't even have attention on you. You have all attention on your audience and you're blissing the whole time you're doing it. So sometimes people don't give themselves the time or they're pursuing perfection. If you want to be depresso, pursue perfection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good point. Yeah.
And so we have to do it to do it, and that will bring us to our bliss.
These are such amazing points. The shouldness, the thing about having mastery. I mean, things are so much easier when we master them. It,
Right.
it takes time, it takes coaching, it takes learning, it takes dedication and determination and time and practice, like all of that. But in the
And
end,
go ahead,
we,
my friend.
yeah, in the end, we end up with super skills. And
Right.
people like you and me can get on a call like this. We have no script. We speak very well. We give great content. You're giving amazing points to our people out there. I hope you guys are really like taking this all in because it's amazing. And yes, we can do that now. And I love that.
And the other thing, me and you in this conversation,
Yes,
I
sir.
may be wrong, no speech fillers, no uhs, no ums,
Right.
etc. That comes from many, many hours of doing our thing.
Of going to Toastmasters and saying to them, you had 6 in a 5-minute speech. Come on.
My friend, I was never a Toastmaster, but that's okay. That there
I
are
was.
many, many paths,
There
many paths.
are.
I do want to say something. For all this, whatever we want to get to our bliss, we have to be kind to ourselves.
Such a
Okay. Peggy, I remember one day I went somewhere to give a speech. It was an important speech. There was 100 gals in the room, my gals, potential clients, and they gave me a standing ovation, which was very nice. But here's what they didn't do. I invited them to come to my next thing, and absolutely not even one person signed up. In fact, one gal said, I signed up for your thing 2 years ago. I never came. So put me in this one. I was actually deficit of, there wasn't even no sales. There was negative sales. And I went,
I'm
and I
sorry
got,
to laugh, but it is kind of funny. So that's depresso.
but here's what I want to tell you. I get in my car. I'm depresso the whole way home. And then 2 days later, gals start to call me. 3 days later, I get Facebook message. And by the end of the week, 10 gals from that event had joined to come. And I said to myself, never again, because we say, oh my God, I did all this, nothing happened. It's not that nothing happened. This is very important. Nothing insta happened. And in life, we're always, or often, not always, we're looking for the insta. I talked to 10 gals today. Nobody did anything. I went to 10 places. Nobody said yes. It's not that, it's just you didn't get insta results. I've been dieting all week. I didn't lose 5 pounds. It's the insta. And that's what we also have to be kind to ourselves, give ourselves grace. And although I do not value patience, I think patience is not a value that you want when you're an entrepreneur. I do think we have to remind ourselves that not everything comes insta.
It's true. And what another amazing thing to set up our mindset to help us to
Right.
to see the good that does happen in the moment, even if it doesn't meet our expectations, and
Mhm.
then to just wait and see how things unfold. And
Right.
like in your situation with your former husband, I mean, that's like a mega, 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 mega. It's way beyond disappointment. It's like tragic, right? So when you go through tragedy like that and even trauma like that, that there's a way that you can use your mind to, like you said, you told me the other day, I became determined to not let this bury me.
Right.
And you are thriving, you're living an amazing life, you have amazing business, and you're teaching and traveling and doing everything you want to do with a bunch of
Right.
really awesome people. So how cool is that?
It's awesome, Peggy. And the other thing is, I'm very clear, and this is what I want for everybody. You got to be clear about what brings you down, what makes you not bliss,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and get those things out of your life,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I'm going to give another super tip. So
Good.
you want to look as much as you can to only do in your life and your business what you seek to master.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Every year people tell me, oh, I'm struggling to do my taxes. Why do you do that? Why don't you have a bookkeeper? Why don't you have an accountant? I mean, it's not worth the stress, plus they're probably going to save you money anyway, because it's their area of expertise. They know what they're doing,
exactly.
you know? And
Yeah, yeah.
and that's the thing, is that we we have to look at how can I take stress out of my life? How can I take struggle out of my life? And what that does is it gives you more vitality for the parts that make you bliss.
And I think, how can I get difficult people out of my life?
Absolutely, my
Or
friend.
less. I mean, because some are family members, you know, and you can't necessarily zero that out. With some
Yeah.
people you can, and
But
some.
yes, but two things you can do, and I know you're good at this, Peggy. One is you can make powerful requests. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
you can say this works for me, this doesn't work for me.
yes.
And let's remind everybody that a complaint is an unstated request.
Oh, that's a really good distinction. I love that.
Yeah. So if you're complaining about Mary Jane or Sheila, there's probably a request that you're not making.
Yes. And there's probably a need that is not being met. So, yeah, when I'm doing my teaching and people are dealing with disappointment and all of that, I always ask them to look and see what are the needs that you're having that are not being met. Because when
Right.
people's needs are met, they're happy. When they're not met, they're not happy. It's pretty, I mean, I can't believe that I didn't learn that until I was like in my 50s. Like, why
Wow.
didn't I learn that like when I was 10? Like,
Mhm.
wanna, have a chocolate milkshake? Like, go get a chocolate milkshake. Right back in the days when I could eat chocolate milkshake, so and enjoy chocolate milkshake. Anyway, um, so yes, it's taking the negative things out of your life and getting clear from the negative people. And you said I'm good at what? I said I'm good at something.
Well, you're good at so you're good at making powerful requests.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what was the other thing? Well, the other thing is you're good at communicating how you're feeling. You're a master, Peggy,
yeah, I do.
at communicating how you're feeling.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've been practicing letting myself know how I feel for many
Mhm.
decades so that I could heal. And
Mhm.
that has translated in me being able to be transparent with others and clear with others about what I'm feeling and what I'm needing. And I think it's an important point to make here also that I remember learning this from the Alive tribe that they, many back in the 80s, I used to study with them, and they had one like rule about when things got difficult in a relationship, and they said you can leave or you can ask the other person first, make have a request, ask them for, could you, not to make such a mess in the house, or could you stop
Right.
flirting with all those other people, or whatever it is, could you carve out 3 hours of quality time for me at the end of the week, whatever it is, right? And if you could make those requests, and then they have a choice to fulfill them or not.
Right.
If they don't fulfill them, then you can leave. You know,
Right.
I really, I mean, some people unfortunately are so defensive that they take those requests as some kind of put down, or some kind of, you have to do the world the way I want to do, rather
Right.
than, I know myself well enough to know that I have these needs, and whether it's safety or getting a certain amount of attention, it's such a valuable thing to be able to offer someone. So I'm just saying all of this because I've had certain people in my life sort of turn it on me and make it look like I'm being a spoiled brat. And I just stick up for myself and say, these things aren't working for me, and I want to let you know before I move away.
Right. Well, and that's I think that's hindering too, my friend, on gaslighting,
Yeah,
and that's
yes,
like saying like, it's not okay. And there's something wrong with you, you
yeah.
know?
People
And-
not honoring your feelings.
right, right. So, and you know what? You want people in your life that honor your feelings, right? And people in your life that do their best to accommodate your requests. And if it doesn't work for them, to negotiate or discuss or compromise something that works for both parties. But the thing is that we're not honoring ourselves when we don't ask for what we want, and I believe anybody always has the right to ask for what they want. Or they can choose to do it in a loving and kind way. And it's our job to do what works for us. We can say yes, we can say no, we can offer another suggestion or solution, we can
Negotiate,
compromise, right,
negotiate,
you
yeah,
know? But because people walk around complaining because that's just them not asking for what they want.
because they're not getting their needs met. Yeah. So, I mean,
They're not getting their needs met because they're not asking for what they want. People can, don't think people can read your mind,
I
right?
know exactly. I used to say that to my mother about her being mad at my father all the time. I'm like, Mom, he can't read your mind. So, getting back to, I'm looking at the clock. We've been going for a while now. So, would you like to leave our audience with any final words of wisdom, super tips, or bings that you have up your sleeve, my friend?
Well, let me say this, okay? And I know, like these are guiding principles, right?
Yes.
Always have the intention of leading every interaction with people more uplifted than when the interaction started. Now, we can't impact how other people, well, excuse me, we can't control how other people feel. And so we can, be loving and kind and they can still be mad, but we can control our behavior.
Right.
And and that doesn't mean that it's going to be, light and roses all the time,
Oh,
but it's going to be more interactions like that.
yes.
And I do encourage people to create a criteria for who they let be in their life,
Mhm.
you know, and to have people in your life have the same values as you, that are loving and kind. And if that's, important to you, and it is definitely important to me, those are the people I want to hang out with. And
Yeah.
they're usually the fun people anyway.
Me too. And you know what's so cool is that as I have cultivated these skills, and I know this is true for you, that the more I'm able to feel safe, the more I'm able to feel honored, and the more I'm able to feel respected and loved. And that all makes me bliss. That all makes my joy levels go up. So there's a certain one thing I didn't ask you about, which you're so good at, is authenticity. So would you talk for a moment about in connection to your adversity? Like how did the adversity? Or maybe the question first is: did you notice that it had an impact on your authenticity?
Okay, so I believe I believe that you can be authentic, but it doesn't mean that you air all your laundry all the time in every situation.
I think that's a very
Um,
good distinction. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I remember once I was at a workshop. I wasn't a speaker that day. And I said to a gal something like, "Oh, blah blah blah, you're interested in XYZ, let me invite you to come to my next thing." And I don't even know if I knew her name yet. And the first thing out of her mouth was, "I'm so broke. I can't spend money on anything."
Mm.
It's like, okay, you don't have to broadcast to the planet people that
Right.
you don't know. Okay. And
Right.
especially because also it was a generous invitation that wasn't going to cost her a dime. But her world of view was struggle and lack. And
Yes.
and also being authentic means telling everybody everything. Well, it's sometimes people do that and then it's like you're burdening them with your stuff.
Right.
Right. And that doesn't serve you.
Certainly not. But how did you experience becoming more authentic as a process of as a result of going through that process? Did it impact
Well,
you?
I've always lived my life with integrity.
You
I
have.
It's really one of my top values.
Yes.
And so I tell the truth and, but like when I say tell the truth, I've had friends who they tell the truth, but they do it in a way that's very harsh.
Mhm.
If something doesn't work for me, I'm going to say, hey, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in a way that doesn't make people wrong.
Yeah. Maybe what I've observed from you over the
You can
years
tell me, yeah.
is as you know yourself more,
Yeah.
that it's a subtle thing to perceive, but the sort of level of your authenticity has gone up. And I mean, I think that's true for me too. It's part of
Yeah.
maturing, right?
Right.
It's like we
Right.
c- we spend
Right.
time on the planet, we find out what works, we
Right.
find out what doesn't work, we work with our mindset, and gradually, we become more of our true selves.
Absolutely. And I think the longer we're on the planet, hopefully, we love ourselves more, we know ourselves more. And I think I've learned to stand up for myself more. And,
Yes,
and again, to say, and like, it's okay for you to want what you want. It's okay for you to do what you do. That doesn't work for me. So to do it in a way that doesn't make them wrong. I mean, anyone could do it, they could do what they want, but if it doesn't feel good to me, then I don't have to be a party to it.
exactly. All right, that was good. I love that. Thank you. So we've talked about so many things. You talked about, oh my God, so many super tips, determination. I chimed in that a lot you were talking about was positive mindset. You talked about being kind to yourself, self-care, speaking up, asking for what you want, authenticity as a skill that we develop, the mastery and the bliss that grows with mastery, and giving time for things to develop. So many things. What I
My friend,
forget?
I got to say one more thing that we didn't shine the spotlight on enough, but I'll just mention it. I shouldn't say that. We didn't shine the spotlight on that much that I think is important, which is to be in community with
Oh, yeah. You
like-minded,
did say that, and I didn't say that.
like-minded, like-hearted people.
Yes,
And
yes,
that helps fill our cup.
yes.
The more our cup is full, the more we feel full in our life, the more it's easy to be positive and it's easy to stand up for ourselves. And it's
Be authentic.
right. Exactly.
All of the things that we've been talking about.
Yes.
Yes. And it's people living in modern day society and nuclear families, we grow up, and then there's a lot of women like you and me that are living on our own, and community is such an important thing
Right.
because the juice of life is with people,
Right. Right.
That's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast, so I can hang out with my friends and, make an intelligent conversation so that people can benefit from it. And yeah, I agree. And I think that it's underplayed by our cultural upbringing about how important it really is. So thank you for adding that. Anything else I forgot?
My friend, we could talk all night, but
I
I
know.
guess we'll probably wrap it up and we'll
Okay.
have to do it again.
Okay, good. That sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you, Caterina Rando. We can reach Caterina at
You can reach me. I love Facebook. You can talk to me on Facebook. You can reach me at CaterinaRando.com, CaterinaRando.com. And I got free gifts and free workshops and a lifetime supply of things to support you to bliss more in your business.
yeah, and she will have a speaker page on a2a.peggyspeaks.com. And you just put in, you'll see her picture or you'll see her name. You click there, you can get a free gift there. You can see all of her bio and all of her thing, and then go to her website. And she has so many offerings for so many people, especially for women who are wanting to have businesses that they thrive in bliss. So thank you, Caterina, for being with us.
My friend, always
Thank
blessing to be with you, Peggy.
Mwah. All right, everybody else, thank you for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed our adventure into From Adversity to Awakening, and stay tuned for next week. All right, I'll see you there. So long for now.